Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
I'm number one fan, Tim.
We had to buy the wife a new car, as you may have noticed.
Ah, yes. Did see a different car in the driveway.
Yeah, so her Traverse died.
It died?
It died.
Like how?
Like it won't stay running, and it's probably the timing chain, and she doesn't have the money to fix it. And if it goes, then the whole thing's scrap. So
I know a guy.
Yeah, well, everybody knows a guy. We bought a new Traverse, not a brand new.
Okay.
But we found a program. I found a program car on the internet on CarMax that only had like 16,000 miles on it.
Program car?
It was a work vehicle.
Oh, okay.
For a company that they leased. So it's a 2016, up from her 2010. I guess the 2010s are infamous for having problems because they jammed Ford parts in there. I know what you want to do. You want to make fun of Ford because that's your thing. But the problem is not that they use Ford parts. It's that the Ford parts and the Chevy parts, they don't gel together. You have to use one or the other.
Which is why there's Ford parts or Chevy parts. You don't mix them.
Well, that's
who the fuck mixed them?
The great people at Chevrolet.
See, that's why I don't buy Chevys anymore either.
So we end up going to CarMax in Brooklyn Park.
Okay.
It's like the Walmart of car stores, basically.
Sounds like it's in
I
Brooklyn
found
Park.
out. So they're like a national chain now, and we go there, and she test drives it one day, and I go to test drive it the next. And we go there on a Friday night, thinking we're going to get it.
Lickety split. Come in, test it when we want. We're out of here within a half hour. Is that what you thought?
I thought it'd be an hour at the most. We burned an hour and a half, and we couldn't even get the car that night because in order to go through all their loan bullshit, they're like, oh, do you have your Social Security cards with you? I'm like, why the fuck do I need my Social Security card?
Identity theft.
Right. And they're like, oh, did you bring a piece of mail? No, because I don't buy cars enough to remember this shit. You think you could maybe fucking have an online checklist that says, coming to look at a car? Oh, yeah, bring this, that, the other.
I wonder if that's something that's changed in the last couple of years. Because when I went and did mine, I had my driver's license, I had my Social Security card, but I don't recall needing a piece of mail.
I don't know, dude. It's like
maybe
they use their own banking service.
Within an hour and a half, because when I went and got my truck, that was the better part of 5 hours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's about an hour to test drive and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. It's about a half hour to an hour for them to get to financing. It was 3 hours of them trying to fix the brakes on it because I refused to sign any paperwork until they replaced the rear caliper, which froze up while I was test driving it. So they replaced the rear caliper, and they went around, did all the pads, took it for test drive, and we're like, oh, it doesn't feel quite right yet, so we're going to take it apart and check it again. It's like, I don't have all fucking day. And at the end, because I had to go, I said, I need to get home now, because I got to pick up the kids and everything from daycare. They gave me a rental car for free, while they got the truck overnight and worked on it. I brought the car down the next day and got my truck, within 5 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So anyways, we couldn't get the car that night because we didn't have all that shit. And then he's like, oh, well, you can log into the Social Security website and print some papers to prove you're you. Well, I could do mine, but for some godforsaken reason, she was getting her Social Security number wrong.
But, she doesn't know it?
Like she was off by 1 digit.
So she doesn't know it.
She had the wrong 1 digit, and then so we couldn't get it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So we have to come back tomorrow to get this thing. Like, we're already there with 3 fucking kids, because little E was out of town at the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And Juice and Chi-Chi are running around, and they have these little mini basketballs they gave them to play with. Well, they're not just, rolling them. They're throwing them at each other. They're bouncing them. It's a fucking mess. The baby's got one. She's running around like a goddamn retard on Christmas morning, bumping into shit. And it's like trying to get them to not knock over other people's desks, like their computer stations. It's a nightmare. And the guy that's helping us is fucking old. I mean fucking old. These aren't suit and tie wearing car salesmen. They wear a pair of pants and a polo that says CarMax on the tit.
Yeah, that's most car salesmen now.
Jesus Christ.
Comfort.
So this guy, he can't even fucking type on the computer worth of shit.
It was like one finger typing.
Pretty much. And at some point, I just grabbed the keyboard and started typing shit for him because I had no fucking patience anymore. He gets all the crap typed into the computer, and that's when he's like, oh, I need your social security card. You could have fucking told me that 45 minutes ago. I would have said, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for wasting my time, you old cunt.
Yeah, that's what it seems
You don't even have that much left on this earth. What's your problem? You fucking red-in-the-face, burst capillary on your nose, goddamn crusty fucker.
You.
So the next day we come back, and I've brought the piece of mail, and I've brought my social security card, and I brought a lock of hair, and a vial of my blood, and the toenails of a dragon, and an eye of newt. Because apparently they need like this weird fucking scavenger hunt's worth of material. And we go and we test drive it and it's fine. And I'm co-signing for this loan, which I hate fucking doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to sit at a desk with this black chick whose name was like LaFonda or something. And we're sitting there and she's nice enough and we're signing papers. So as we're sitting there, the baby's like trying to run around and she's doing her fucking retard on Christmas deal where she's bumping into shit again, trying to grab leftover coffee cups that people left so she can take a sip. And I'm like, no. So the wife gets sick of holding the baby. So the baby walks over to the sales guy who's sitting there with us, who came in on his day off, by the way. So, I mean, hats off for that because he must have really needed this sale.
Yeah, I was going to say, he needs that commission badly.
Yes, to pay for his goddamn diabetes medication. He was a fat fuck. Oh my Christ, Medicaid is not paying its due. So he picks up the baby, and the baby's sitting on his leg like he's Santa Claus. And she's like, just sitting there, and she tries to grab his glasses. She tries to grab his mustache. And then she just sets her hand like on his leg, on his thigh. And I'm just like, motherfucker, she better not grab a handful. And then I realize she can't grab a handful because she's sitting on his right leg. And his entire package is in his left leg. Because when I saw where her hand was, I saw his big fucking pile of old man lunches sitting there. Big fucking outline of his dork and balls. Like, how do you... I get that you might have old balls that hang more, but your dick and your balls are just jammed out the side of your briefs into one... They're shorts, by the way. They're not pants. Yeah, so, I mean, this guy, depending upon how low his balls hang, is one sneeze away from a wardrobe malfunction at work at any given moment.
I'm just picturing this shit now. No.
So then, you know, she gets her car and she drives home, and then I throw the kids in my car and drive home, and that's a done deal. And then I spend the next 24 hours just upset that I had to spend money, because anytime I have to make a big purchase, just don't talk to me for like 3 days. Parting with money is hard for me. Like that.
Understand that.
I don't know where that $5,000 down payment's coming back from, but somebody owes my ass $5,000.
Whereas I'm just like, oh, fuck, I like that. I bought my kids a little four-wheeler.
Yeah.
Just willy-nilly. Coger's like, I bought 2 of them. Well, he bought one for his granddaughter.
Yeah.
And he found another one that looked nicer, so he bought that one.
Oh, for Christ.
And then he's just like, we don't need both of these, so he picked the one that she liked. He let her kind of pick the one that she wanted, and then offered me the other one for $250.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
So I went over and was like, yeah, I sat on it. I wrote it. It's tiny. It's like 50 cc, if that. Yeah. And then I brought it home and realized all my kids are too big for it.
Oh.
So what am I doing? I'm letting them ride it.
That's fine.
Put a motorcycle helmet on, go have fun.
Fuck it.
Buy them a better, bigger one next year.
Do you have any other car purchase stories that you can relay? That are humorous, not boring, preferably.
No, they're all kind of boring.
Oh.
Other than I tried buying one from my Impala. Remember my Impala I had?
No.
You don't remember my maroon Impala?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I bought that from Village Chevrolet, but down in Minnetonka. But apparently, there's 2 lots there. It's their lot and then their discount lot. But all the cars were in the one lot. So I test drove it. I liked it. I said, but it feels like the rotors are warped. Mm-hmm. So I told him, it says, before I buy it or anything like that, I want you guys to change the rotors out so the brake pedal doesn't pulsate. Oh yeah, sure. We'll have mechanics look at it and get it all taken care of for you. Like, all right, cool, thanks. I'll be down tomorrow. Go down tomorrow. And they're like, okay, yep, we had to cancel look at it. They said, they're not warped. It's just there's a little bit of surface rust on it. It'll go away the more you drive the car. I'm like, sounds like bullshit. I'm not an idiot. I know how to do brakes. So I get in the car. I couldn't really feel anything. I was like, all right, well, maybe they switched it or they were just under the table. You know, we won't tell the managers we did this. But no, sure as shit. I get home and they're fucking warped. So I call them up and I say, hey, I asked you guys to change the rotors out on these. You didn't do it. The pads are warped. You know, the brakes are pulsating and everything. And they're like, oh, well, you bought it as is with no warranty. So, I mean, you know, once you drive it off the lot, that's kind of it. And I said, I told you guys to fix this shit before I picked it up. Going back at it, I shouldn't even have picked it up. I should have been like, no, you change them or I'm fucking walking, give me my truck back. But that was my mistake. So, I argued with them. The sales guy I dealt with, he offered to pay for half of it out of his own pocket. I was like, no. It's free. I did fucking whatever. So I went and bought the rotors. It was only $150 for both of them. Changed them out myself and never fucking went back there again.
What dealership was that again?
Village Chevrolet down there in Minnetonka. Off of 394, west of 494.
Okay, yeah. So we've pinned down the location. That's like the car I bought for work when I bought that Focus. The day I got it, I go to put the window down, and it's going like regular down. I go to put it back up, and it starts going slower and slower and slower.
Yeah.
And then I put it down, up, and then slower, up, slower, stop. Like, what the fuck?
Nice car.
So I go to bring it back, and on the way there, you know, I'm twisting in the seat to go towards the dashboard to grab the title and stuff from it with all the paperwork and the agreement. And that's when I realized, and I hadn't noticed this beforehand, there was duct tape on my seatbelt.
What?
And what they had done is put a plastic clip over the duct tape. Well, the clip moved. Then I felt the duct tape. I hadn't felt it, obviously, because of clothes.
Yeah.
And normally you don't reach that far back on the belt. You grab for the shoulder.
Yeah.
I moved the tape, and the fucking belt is half torn.
No, that's not safe at all.
So I took it back, and I told him the problem. And then I got it fixed. And then when I came to pick it up, the guy wanted to charge me money for it. I'm like, well, he's like, well, I'm going to give you, just what you think. I was just going to charge you like $50. Because they had to replace the motor for the window because it was burnt out. And obviously I made them get me a new seatbelt because they sold me a car that was not legally safe.
Yeah, they could get in big trouble for that.
Once again, the as is bullshit. Suck a dick. I'm not playing that shit. I'll fucking park this thing right here and just walk away, and then I'll report it stolen. Or something. I don't know.
Something.
I'm not going to fuck around. So he wants to charge me the $50. I'm like, well, here's the deal. Here's what I'm thinking. The seatbelt, there's no way in hell I would have bought the car if I would have known that. There's no way in hell you could have sold it that way had we known. You said you had no idea. You fixed it. Fine. Onto the motor and the window. Had I played with the window a little bit more on my second test drive, I would have figured this shit out. But it was sprinkling that day, and I didn't want to put the windows down. Would have had to figure it out anyway. And if I would have noticed it then, I would have made you fix it before I bought the car. So, okay, fair enough. Shook my hand. Out the door.
Good. That sounds like a guy who fucking knows his shit. Like, alrighty, he kind of got me here. Yeah, it's every time I've test drove a vehicle, whether it's raining or not, I always high-speed curves. I jerk the wheel around a little bit to test the suspension. If it is raining, I pull somewhere where I can't get wet, and I test all the windows, all the doors. I open up the doors. I look at everything. I'm actually pretty thorough when I test drive a vehicle. So
I just lucked out that the window motor happened to die that day. Thankfully, not like a week later. Because you have like 5 days to get anything fixed with it if there's problems. It wasn't like a dealership. It's a consignment shop. It's run by a guy that runs a body shop / detailing shop.
Yeah. I remember when I was hunting for cars because my 92 Seville was slowly dying on me.
You know who else used to hunt for cars?
Who?
The DC Sniper. Go on.
But I remember every dealership I pulled into, the engine of the Cadillac would just freaking stall out on me. Yeah, the engine was dying. And the one salesman was just like, I'm guessing you're here for a new car. I was like, yep, this one's not running so hot. But they didn't have anything I liked or could afford. So I took it up to a place up in Cambridge, and that's where I found my LHS.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked LHSs because Mrs. Number One fan had one when I met her. And I was just like, wow, this is a fantastic car. And at that point, I'd never driven a Chrysler before, even thought of owning one. But I liked her, so I went and test drove this one that she found, and I really liked it. So, and it was affordable. The guy was willing to do half down and then, in-house payments for the remainder of the balance and all that. Then he asked me, he's like, what are you hoping to get for this Cadillac? I says, well, it's not a bad car. And he's like, I heard it pull in. This is going to need work. I says, I did talk to a junkyard. This is total bullshit. And they said they'd give me $500 for it. He's like, all right, I'll do that. And I pulled into his lot. It died. Like, I know it would start up again, but it's still the fact that it died in the first place. That's about as comical as it gets. I went to 4 different dealerships. Each time the Cadillac died on me.
That's interesting. At least you got the $500. You got to give it to 1-800 Cars for Kids like I did with my Escort that died.
No.
And then I got the tax break.
I want money.
Man,
I do remember what, you remember Sarah from up north?
Yeah.
I remember what she said when I was test driving the station wagon.
Which is what?
I went for a test drive, come back. I think you, her, and Neil were there, and she's looking at it, and she's like, you're not going to buy that, are you? It's like, I might.
Ouch.
I said, it drives real nice, and I have the money for it. And she's just kind of like, oh. Yeah, it's just what?
Women don't want to ride in a station wagon.
I had several get rides in the station wagon. Thank you very much.
It's very few and far between a woman that's down on her luck enough to be like, yeah, fuck me in the back of a station wagon.
Well, no, it was more than a few. It's like 5. All within a year and a half, so, the fucking wagon rocked.
It did. It was a shaggin' wagon. The final story I'm going to share is when I bought that Escort that died.
All right, let's hear this, because I didn't ever...
Jesus Christ. First off, my dad found the fucking car in the paper. It was a program car. It came from California.
You like those program cars, don't you?
They had very few miles on them. That's the thing, and they have almost a full warranty.
I suppose.
So, the thing only had like 22,000 miles on it when I got it. And I got it for $7,600, so pretty good.
Just that silver one, right?
Yes, the silver one. So here's the problem, is that I was buying it because my 88 LeSabre that had like 184,000 miles on it. Or
I remember that car.
The tranny was slipping.
Did you check the tranny fluid?
The tranny was slipping, dude, for a long fucking time.
Okay, because sometimes low tranny fluid will do that.
Yeah, no, it was not the thing. But, so we're sitting there with the guy, and we're going to trade in the LeSabre. And he asked me if there's anything wrong with it. And this is when I found out just how fucking bad my dad is at lying. I said, well, the tranny's slipping. My dad goes, the tranny's slipping? I just looked at him like, you knew that shit. Don't.
How long did you have that car?
A few years.
Okay.
So it was my first car, and I put about 22,000 miles on it.
I put like 30 on the station wagon.
Well, the point being, they only wanted to give me $100 for it. My dad's like, okay. I'm like, no. No. I could sell it to some gearhead who will fix it up for more than that, or I could part it out. Sorry, no. Plus, I'm like, and they're not going to take out my CD deck from the thing and give it back to me, so no. So he was mad that it was sitting in the driveway for like 2 months, waiting to be sold. Never mind that he almost fucking tried to lie right to the face of a salesman that, used car salesmen, they don't get the best reputations usually.
No, not really.
But this guy was awesome. And here's my dad. Oh, the tranny's slipping? Fuck you, Roger, really? Hadouken! Does he look like he was literally born yesterday? Is he holding a birth certificate in front of his face that says the date before today? He's not.
No, at that point, he's just like, yeah, it slips a little bit. And I don't feel like fixing it.
So I sold that car for $400 to some guy who rebuilt the tranny.
There you go, $400.
Right, I made $300 more, and I got to keep my CD deck, which was a nice-ass Pioneer 1000 series.
That's the problem. Is like I had a 12-disc changer in the back of the Cadillac. I wish I would have taken that out.
Oh, but my dad, being the brilliant salesman that he is, for some reason, I had Best Buy take out the CD deck and replace the stock one from the factory. It was a cassette deck. Mm-hmm. So here's my dad. Yeah, so I mean, it's in pretty good shape, blah, 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 blah. Well, it had a CD deck in it, but we took that out. Are you fucking serious? He had no idea, you stupid asshole. And if you say that, he might be like, oh, well, why'd you take it out? Maybe I want that. Stupid ass. There's a time for transparency, and then there's times for things that don't fucking matter. It's a minute, unimportant,
don't even bring it up.
worthless contextual detail that bears nothing on the sale if you don't bring it up. He has no idea. And we're not like just patching a tire with tire slime, knowing it's going to go flat on him on the drive home. We're not fucking this guy. I'm trying to keep my CD deck that I just bought.
Yeah.
So here's Roger. Oh, I thought I was being honest. No, you're being a retard. God damn it. Leave the salesmanship to me. You talk car specs, I will sell. I work in retail. I'm a fucking salesman. I will sell the car. You're a plumber. When the guy's toilet breaks, he'll fucking call you. Trying to wheel and deal, you mustache bastard. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan Tim.
And that's the end.